today with Ryan Rose and Dust Franco, and we are here to talk about the differences between sports and theater. So, I'm gonna start with you, Dust. What does theater mean to you?
Theater to me is something that I'm really passionate about. It's something that I really care about. It's something that takes up a lot of my time, but it's something that teaches me social skills and improvisational skills, things of that nature. It's something that gets me up and moving, especially during musicals when we're dancing, when we're blocking. It's something that allows me to do all the things that I need to do to be healthy. So it's incredibly important to me.
Awesome. And Ryan, what does sports mean to you?
I'd say to me it means responsibility is a big thing. Honestly, just getting to communicate with others, talk to others. Just I don't know, just communicating with people. I'd say it's to me it's important because it's important because not you can't do it forever. You can't play sports till you're 40 unless you're very, very good at it. But you only get a chance till probably 18, 19, 20 years old, getting to D3 colleges. Not even everyone goes to college for sports, so just that in itself is probably fun.
Right. So I wanted to get into a little bit about funding. So especially during theater and sports usually gets funding from the school.
Yeah.
Right? And then theater usually is self-funded. How do we feel about that? Do we think that it should be the other way around?
I think me and a lot of other theater students would agree that sports gets a lot more funding than theater. Not saying that the school has to provide all of the funding, but sports definitely gets way more. And especially for a program like I participate in the HAPA program at Morton High School, we bring in a lot of money. And sometimes the only, the only money that does come out of the school would be the director stipends, which is included in their current contract, which is all the school has to pay for in regards to musicals and plays and any other sort of thing we do like dance concerts. Funding is very, very important. And when we have all that funding ourselves, it's important that the school supports us in any way that they can, including allowing us space and time to practice those performances and sharpen our skills and things like that.
Yeah. So how do you feel about funding for you?
I completely agree with you, first of all, that being an athlete myself, we do get a lot of money in the school's budget. It's just honestly being how'd you word it?
Self-funded.
Self-funded, yeah. That seems better to me because you get to make your choices on what you get to spend the money on. But with when you have sports and stuff like that, you kind of forced to make that. So if you need money for clothes, makeup, buy new mics, buy new lights, stuff like that, self-funding is better. But when you have a budget for sports, they tell you, here, you have to buy this, you have to buy that.
Well, our budgets will always go to buying the rights to our shows. If we want to get new stuff like mics or new tools for the technical theater program, that stuff all comes from grants that we get, usually from the state. They will send us $1,000, however much, never enough. And then we will use that to buy tools, and we have to send them a list of exactly what we're buying and exactly where we're buying it from, and that all has to be approved. The money that we make goes right back into the shows that we make. The things that we would use that money for outside of buying rights to shows would be for costumes if we need it, for props, but that stuff is usually not inexpensive, but not as expensive as buying a show.
Okay, yeah. Well, do you guys get donated stuff, donated clothes, donated props,
Yeah.
donated stuff like that?
We get donated stuff all of the time. Right now, in my technical theater class, we're actually going through everything that we have in the downstairs area, and a lot of it is very old, a lot of it is falling apart, there's holes, so we have to go through that, find what's good, find what's not, and donations are so greatly appreciated, but sometimes all of those donations are hats, and we have enough hats. Oh, so many hats. We actually found, I believe, 3 boxes and a bag of Santa hats that were like, the white part was totally yellowed, unusable. And it's like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
But no thank you. We don't need more Santa hats.
Love a good
I get that, yeah.
I don't think you guys can't get anything donated, really, can you?
I mean, it depends what it is, because if it's donated, like, we can't get donated jerseys, can't get donated, like, helmets or shoulder pads or stuff like that. But, like, if it's donated money, it has to go to, I don't know how you do it, but it has to be set up certainly where some of it has to go to the school, like half of it, they split it.
That is actually very interesting because for HAPA Productions, we used to have containers outside where people could donate a little bit more money. And recently, in the last couple of years, we've actually been told to take those down and that we can't do that anymore and we can't get those donations.
Really?
Oh,
Yes.
Ours has to be, so what we have for football, we have this thing called Panther Parents. And so what it is it's a checkbook and stuff like that. So like if we need funding for, let's say, shoulder pads or jerseys, people can make a donation to that, and we get the helmets and shoulder pads. The school still has to pay for it. Like it's like split. Like if jerseys are 16,000, it's like 8 and 8, or helmets are 3, it's 1,500. But we still have our own funding, but we still get some of it from athletics and from the school budget.
How often do you guys need to get new stuff? Because of course we need to get show-specific items all the time, but you guys just need like jerseys, helmets, and then you keep those for however long you're on the team, right?
So for jerseys, for football, that's every 4 years, I think.
Okay.
I believe it's every 4 years. Helmets, they get reconditioned every 2, and if like we don't have enough helmets or they're not usable for like concussion tests and stuff like that, usually it's every 10 years we have to get brand new helmets. And we actually have like 10 to 15 helmets that are actually like getting used up too much, so like we might have to get new ones soon. But for wrestling, I know the singlets that we have, we just got them, and the ones that we had previously are like 6, 7 years old or something like that. So it's just like probably between 6 to 10 years is like when we need new equipment and new jerseys and stuff like that.
Speaking of equipment, I know a lot of equipment is needed for both clubs and sports and things like that. What would you say your sport or theater company goes through in equipment in about one full season or year?
I would say that something that we have to replace every year would be, since we need new costumes for every single show, we are able to go downstairs and look at all of the costumes we have, but sometimes when you're doing something very specific, like the SpongeBob musical that we did last year, you can't just pull out SpongeBob's pants from everything that we've done in the past, which is like Little Women and a Hairspray. We don't have SpongeBob's pants. We have to go get SpongeBob's pants. So things like that definitely have to, because we do usually 2 musicals, 2 plays every year. We need to make sure that we're getting the right costumes and the right props every year.
For you?
So in the past we've had, like this is talking about football and wrestling, we've had singlets rip, we've had like the plastic on the helmet break off, we've had like screws come undone, but that's easily, you just gotta get a screwdriver to put them back in. And so honestly, it doesn't cost a lot, but like when we need something like that, it's hard to get the budget for it. So we just ask the school, I guess, I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, I think we found some great similarities.